Have you ever been in a relationship where you know it's over, but you can't tell your partner? You feel bad, you feel like you're going to upset them, you don't want to be the bad guy, you can't bear the guilt. And maybe your partner feels the same way, so you end up continuing in a relationship where neither of you feel good. Well, this is a very common experience for some of my clients, and I thought I'd share a story with you to help you with your experience. So let's take a couple, Chris and Mandy. They've been dating for about 2 years, and at first it was kind of love at first sight. There was instant physical attraction. They couldn't get enough of each other. They spent as much time as possible together. Everything seemed to gel. There were no problems. They could read each other's minds. It was just unbelievably ecstatic and wonderful. And then about 14 months into the relationship, Mandy started to feel a little suffocated. She couldn't bear that Chris didn't want to do anything without her. He seemed miserable if she wanted to see a friend or go and do an evening class or do something on her own, or even, visit family, parents, whatever. So she started to feel angry about the fact that she was being asked to take care of Chris in a way that trapped her and made her life less enjoyable. Now, Chris, on the other hand, was feeling that, wow, he'd met this girl, Mandy, the best thing that ever happened to him. He didn't look for it. It just came. It was wonderful. He never had to look again. All his troubles were over. Why should he ever let go of this fantastic woman? She was always there for him. She kind of anticipated his needs. She made sure he was okay. She helped him whenever he needed it. She was there to comfort him when he was upset, when things go wrong at work, or when he had his family problems or whatever. So he felt that he had to hang on. But slowly he also started to feel a little trapped and uncomfortable, like just because she had been there for him and she was his rock, he couldn't then do things without her, like he owed her something. He was obligated to her. So you can imagine now both Chris and Mandy feel that because they came together in this kind of wonderful place where everything was great and they had no issues, all of a sudden they're feeling obligated to continue to take care of each other, because otherwise they'd feel really, really guilty. They don't want to be the bad guy. They don't want to upset anyone. They don't want to be the one to walk away, because that would make them feel selfish. That would make them feel like they were using their partner, and it wouldn't sit well with them later on. So both of them kind of kept going at it, and what I noticed was that they would try to withdraw from each other in a quiet, passive way. So, I'm not feeling too well today, or I got extra work to do. They make all those kind of excuses that weren't upfront hurtful, and they were kind of understandable, but each one really knew that the other one was needing to have a life without them. They just weren't owning up to it. So whenever Chris told Mandy that he had to go to a class, or he needed to do his gym work, he needed to take care of something in the office, secretly she was just thrilled that she didn't have to do the walking away. He was kind of giving her some space to do her own thing, and she didn't have to feel like she was being mean or she was trying to get one over on him or anything like that. And there'd be other times when Mandy would say, I need to go to my meditation class. I have to get my blogs online. I need to work with my colleague on our latest project, whatever. So I'm going to be late. I'm going to be away for the weekend. I need to go away on a trip. And Chris would be secretly overjoyed with the fact that he didn't have to be the bad guy. He didn't have to let her down. He didn't have to feel like he was betraying her or doing anything bad, because it was her choice. And Mandy and Chris worked with me on this for a while, how hard it was for them individually to tell each other that they kind of wanted their own space, they wanted to do their own thing, they liked each other, they didn't hate each other, there wasn't any particular animosity between them, but they were beginning to get to the point where the tension was too much. Mandy started to feel like she had to be pushy in order to get her life together. So she would find herself making little cruel comments here and there to push him away, to hurt Chris, and then she'd feel bad about it and then try and make up for it again. But she was trapped. She didn't know what else to do. And Chris was feeling the same thing. Sometimes he'd be critical of her looks. Sometimes he'd say, "You're a big baby, you can't do anything without me," or "You don't want to," and then that would be hurtful to her. So despite the fact that they didn't want to be monsters and ogres to each other, they found themselves getting angry, mean, and cruel because they couldn't own their own need to be having their own lives and reframe their relationship to make themselves freer while still having whatever connection felt good. So it took a long time, but what I helped them to do was to write things down about how bad they felt towards themselves if they wanted to do anything by themselves. And then I asked them to tell each other in my office how bad they felt at the idea of wanting to be separate and doing something without their partner. And it was like shocking to each of them, both Chris and Mandy, that they were both in the same place. They were both feeling that they were bad guys, that they were breaking their promises, that they were hurting each other, that they were betraying each other, and that they would be really, really awful people if they rejected one another. Once they realized that, it was such a liberating experience. Their eyes lit up, they were animated, they sat up straight, and they were able to make a new relationship without so many obligations that had never been spoken. That's the whole point of this exercise, is to put the obligations up front, see if they're real, see if they're matched. Do they really have to be there? And then create a new, refreshing relationship that isn't made of obligation and duty and guilt and shame and anger, but made of desire and connection and freedom. And when you can do that with your partner, you don't have to break up, you don't have to withdraw, you don't have to live in misery and tension for years and years and years until one of the partners actually walks out so that the other one can feel free. You guys can do it together, just if you accept the fact that you're both feeling obligated, put them up front, see what's real, see what's fantasy, and refresh your relationship, and it'll work. Now, how about you telling me if you liked the video? Write a few comments about your experience of trying to break up and feeling guilty and ashamed and obligated. How did you do it? What did you learn? What was helpful to you in the video? What would you like more of? That would be so great, because I'd love to help you more. So tell me what you think, and I'll do my best to give you more of what you'd like.